The dojo was pristine, modern, with high ceilings and professional-grade mats covering the floor. Elite Martial Arts Academy catered to wealthy clients in downtown Seattle, executives, celebrities, people who paid premium rates for private training. Marcus Hayes stood at the edge of the mat with his 5-year-old daughter Sophie, watching a class finish. At 38, Marcus was a single father and veteran working 3 jobs to keep up with rent and Sophie's childcare. He'd served 2 tours in Afghanistan as a Marine before his wife died in childbirth, leaving him to raise Sophie alone. Today was Sophie's trial class. The academy cost more than Marcus could afford, but Sophie had been begging to learn karate after seeing it in a movie. He'd saved for 3 months to pay for this one trial session, hoping she'd love it enough to make the sacrifice worth it. 2 women approached, identical twins in their early 40s, both wearing white GIs with black belts. They moved with the confidence of people who'd never been told no. "You're Sophie's father?" one asked. "I'm Victoria Chen. This is my sister Vanessa. We own Elite Martial Arts." "Marcus Hayes," he said, shaking their hands. "Thank you for accepting Sophie for the trial class." "We don't usually do trial classes," Vanessa said coolly, "but your application mentioned you're a veteran. We make exceptions for military families." Something in her tone suggested the exception wasn't entirely generous. Victoria looked Marcus up and down, noting his worn jacket and work boots. "Your application also mentioned you have martial arts experience." "What style?" "Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, and some Krav Maga. Practical combat training, not sport martial arts." The twins exchanged glances. Vanessa smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "Interesting. We trained in traditional karate for 20 years. Competition level, multiple national championships." "That's impressive," Marcus said genuinely. "Would you like to spar?" Victoria asked suddenly. "Just friendly. We're always curious how military training compares to traditional martial arts." Marcus hesitated. Something felt off. The way they were looking at him, the challenge in their voices. This wasn't friendly curiosity. "I don't think that's a good idea," Marcus said carefully. "I'm here for my daughter's class, not to—" "Scared?" Vanessa interrupted. "I understand. Our training is quite advanced. Military basics probably wouldn't hold up." Sophie tugged his hand. "Daddy, are you going to fight? Like in the movies?" Marcus looked at his daughter's excited face, then at the twins who were clearly trying to humiliate him. He'd dealt with people like this before, wealthy civilians who thought their sport trophies meant they understood real combat. "Okay," Marcus said quietly. "1 round. Light contact. I haven't sparred in years, so go easy on me." They moved to the mat. Other students and instructors gathered to watch. The twins were smiling like they'd already won. Victoria bowed. Marcus returned it. They began. Victoria came in fast with a spinning kick, textbook perfect, the kind that won tournaments. Marcus stepped inside her range before the kick developed power, controlled her momentum, and gently guided her past him. She stumbled slightly, off balance. She tried again, faster. A combination, punch, punch, roundhouse kick. Beautiful technique. Marcus slipped the punches, checked the kick, and tapped her shoulder lightly to show an opening. "Lucky," Victoria muttered. Vanessa stepped in. "My turn." She was faster than her sister, more aggressive. She came at Marcus hard, trying to overwhelm him with speed and precision. Marcus stayed calm, moving minimally, redirecting her energy, never striking back. Every attack she threw, he neutralized. Every opening she left, he touched gently to demonstrate. After 3 minutes, both twins were breathing hard. Marcus was barely winded. "How are you doing that?" Vanessa demanded. "Our techniques are perfect. We've trained for 20 years. "You have," Marcus agreed. "Your form is excellent, but you're fighting for points. I was trained to survive. Different purpose, different approach." "Again," Victoria said. Harder this time. "I don't think—" "Scared now?" she challenged. Marcus sighed. "Okay. But understand, if I spar seriously, someone gets hurt. That's what my training is for. I'd rather not—" "Stop making excuses," Vanessa snapped. "Show us what you've got." Marcus looked at Sophie, who was watching with wide eyes. He didn't want her to see him fight for real, but these women wouldn't stop until they'd proven something to themselves. Full contact? Marcus asked quietly. Full contact, Victoria confirmed. They began again. This time Marcus didn't hold back, not trying to hurt them, but showing what real combat looked like. He moved with economy of motion, no wasted movement. Every action served a purpose. Within 30 seconds, Victoria was on the mat from a sweep she never saw coming. Vanessa lasted another 20 seconds before Marcus had her in a control hold she couldn't escape. The dojo was silent. Marcus helped both women up. I'm sorry, you asked for full demonstration. Your martial arts are impressive as sport, but combat and sport aren't the same thing. Where did you learn to move like that? Victoria asked, her pride clearly wounded. Afghanistan, Iraq, places where if you move wrong, people die. I had good teachers, Marines who'd been in real combat. They taught me that flashy doesn't matter. Survival matters. He looked at Sophie. Can we start her class now? She's been excited all week. But Victoria held up her hand. Wait, I need to say something. She looked at her sister, then at Marcus. We challenged you to spar because we assumed a veteran working 3 jobs couldn't really know martial arts. We thought we'd embarrass you in front of your daughter. Show you that our elite training was superior to military basics. We were wrong, Vanessa added quietly. Completely wrong. And I'm ashamed of myself. Victoria bowed deeply, a formal apology. Sensei, would you consider teaching here? Our students learn competition karate. They win tournaments. But they don't learn what you know. They don't learn real martial arts. Marcus was stunned. I'm not a sensei. I'm just a guy who learned enough to stay alive. That's exactly what makes you qualified, Victoria said. We've spent 20 years learning kata and point sparring. You spent years learning what actually works. Would you teach 1 class a week? We'll pay you what we pay our senior instructors. And Sophie trains free, all classes, as long as she wants. Why would you do this? Marcus asked. I just embarrassed you in front of your students. You humbled us, Vanessa corrected. There's a difference. We needed humbling. We've been running this academy like our way is the only way. But we just saw something more effective than anything we've trained. If we're too proud to learn from that, we're not real martial artists. Marcus looked at Sophie, who was bouncing with excitement. 1 class a week? Wednesdays at 7. Teaching adults who want practical self-defense rather than sport techniques. Pays $150 per hour. 2-hour class. Sophie trains free anytime. Marcus did the math. That was $300 a week. $1,200 a month. That was his 3rd job's entire income, the late-night security work that left him exhausted. He could drop that job and actually spend evenings with Sophie. Okay, Marcus said. I'll try it for a month, see if I'm any good at teaching. You'll be excellent, Victoria said. Because you understand something we forgot. Martial arts isn't about looking good or winning trophies. It's about protecting yourself and others. That's what you did in the service. That's what you'll teach our students. 6 months later, Marcus's Wednesday class was the most popular at Elite Martial Arts. Students learned practical self-defense from someone who'd used it in real situations. The twins had Marcus redesign their entire curriculum, integrating practical techniques with traditional forms. They also made him a partner in the academy. Equal ownership. When Marcus tried to refuse, Victoria said, You changed our entire philosophy. This academy is better because of you. That makes you a partner. At Sophie's belt promotion ceremony a year later, Marcus watched his daughter perform her kata perfectly. After she finished, he spoke to the assembled students and parents. A year ago, I brought my daughter here for a trial class. I was challenged to spar by the owners. I thought they wanted to humiliate me. Instead, they taught me something important. Real strength is admitting when you're wrong and learning from it. Victoria and Vanessa could have kicked me out after I beat them. Instead, they offered me a job and eventually a partnership. That's true martial arts spirit. Victoria stood and bowed to him. You taught us more in 5 minutes than we learned in 20 years. Thank you for accepting our challenge and for showing us what we were missing. If this story inspired you, like, share, and subscribe for more stories about humility and unexpected opportunities. Comment about a time being humbled led to growth. Your story might help someone embrace learning from others today.